A positive mental attitude, as expressed in this life-changing book, is not just a feel-good phrase, it is a profound and deliberate choice, a way of being that holds the key to unlocking human potential in every circumstance. This book invites the reader on an inner journey, a deep, reflective path where the greatest transformation happens not in the outer world, but within the landscape of our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions. As a spiritual guide gently leads their disciple, the book unfolds its timeless truths with calm assurance, urging us to turn inward and cultivate the one power no one can take from us, the power to choose our attitude. At the heart of this work lies the unshakable belief that your mind is your most powerful asset. What you think, you become. What you dwell upon internally becomes the world you live in externally. And this is not a mere poetic idea, it is a law, as real as gravity. The authors show us, time and again, that success or failure begins in the mind. Two people can face the same hardship, the same loss, setback, or challenge, and one may collapse under its weight, while the other rises stronger, wiser, and more determined. The difference: attitude. Not talent, not luck, not education, but the mental lens through which life is perceived and responded to. Throughout the book, stories of transformation breathe life into these ideas. There is the man who lost everything in the Great Depression, his business, his savings, his dignity, yet who refused to surrender to bitterness. Instead, he started over with nothing but a smile and a broom, sweeping the floors of another man's store. But within that humble role, he cultivated excellence, optimism, and gratitude. Within a year, he was running the store. Within 5, he owned it. His rise was not fueled by connections or wealth, it was powered by a relentless inner belief that he could create value, no matter where he stood. This, the book reminds us, is the essence of a positive mental attitude. It is not denial of problems, but the decision to meet those problems with faith instead of fear. With creativity instead of complaint. With a determination to extract meaning and growth from even the darkest moments. Another powerful lesson woven throughout is the idea that every adversity contains the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. This is not to romanticize suffering, it is to reveal a spiritual truth. Life's difficulties are not punishments, they are invitations to evolve. When we adopt a positive mental attitude, we do not merely endure hardship, we rise through it. We mine our pain for purpose, and our disappointments for wisdom. Consider the story of the boy who was born without legs, a child whom the world might pity. But that boy, raised by parents who refused to treat him as a victim, developed an indomitable spirit. Where others saw limitation, he saw challenge. He became a competitive athlete, a motivational speaker, and a symbol of what it means to live not defined by one's circumstances, but by one's attitude. His life echoes a central message of the book: what happens to you is less important than what happens within you. The book also gently but firmly dismantles the idea that success is reserved for the lucky few. It asserts that success is a choice made moment by moment through thoughts, actions, and beliefs. And it begins with belief in oneself. A positive mental attitude starts with self-respect, with the inner conviction that you are worthy, capable, and destined for purpose. This belief doesn't require evidence, in fact, it often precedes it. You must believe before you achieve. You must act as if you already possess the strength you seek, and in doing so, you awaken it. There is also a tender, profound exploration of failure in this book, not as something to be feared, but embraced. Failure, it says, is a teacher. Each stumble holds sacred information about what must change, what must grow. When met with a positive mental attitude, failure becomes not a dead end, but a detour, a course correction that ultimately brings us closer to who we are meant to be. One particularly moving section tells the story of a woman who, after losing her job, her home, and nearly her will to live, found herself volunteering at a shelter. There, in serving others, in giving encouragement and love to those who were also hurting, she found the strength to rebuild her life. She opened a small cafe that hired formerly homeless individuals, teaching them skills and giving them dignity. Her pain became her purpose. Her attitude, her choice to rise, to love, to give, was the difference between despair and destiny. The book insists that attitude is not fixed, it can be cultivated. Like a garden, the mind must be tended daily. Negative thoughts are like weeds, if left alone, they will take over. But when we actively plant seeds of hope, faith, gratitude, and persistence, we change the soil of our being. This is not easy work. It requires vigilance, but it is deeply worth it. A positive mental attitude, once firmly rooted, becomes a source of resilience that no storm can uproot. The authors also highlight the extraordinary role of definiteness of purpose. Without purpose, a positive attitude has no direction. But when paired with a burning desire, a clear aim, and a commitment to take action, a positive mental attitude becomes an unstoppable force. The book urges us to write down our goals, to visualize them daily, to speak them aloud, and to act with faith even when results are not yet visible. This is not blind hope, it is disciplined, intentional belief. And yet, the book warns against selfish ambition. True success, it tells us, is always in harmony with the good of others. A positive mental attitude is not just for personal gain, it radiates outward, uplifting everyone it touches. Whether it's in the way we speak to a cashier, encourage a child, or support a colleague, our attitude becomes part of the world we are creating. Every thought is a contribution. Every belief either heals or harms. When we choose positivity, we are not only changing our own life, we are participating in the healing of the planet. There is great wisdom here about self-talk, the inner dialogue that shapes our identity. The book encourages readers to become their own greatest ally, to replace internal criticism with words of encouragement. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you love, it says. When you stumble, say, I'm learning. I'll do better next time. When you feel fear, say, I've handled difficulty before. I can do it again. These small shifts in inner language become the foundation of a new self-image, one rooted in strength, kindness, and possibility. The book does not promise a life without pain, but it does promise that with the right attitude, even pain can be a portal to growth. Even defeat can be sacred. And joy, deep, sustaining joy, becomes more available when we stop resisting life and begin responding to it with faith. It also reminds us of the power of decision. Every day, we stand at the crossroads of thought. We can choose cynicism or faith, despair or hope, blame or responsibility. And though it may seem small, that choice, repeated, becomes our character. And our character becomes our destiny. Ultimately, the message of this book is one of empowerment. You are not helpless. You are not a victim of fate. You are a creator of your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your results. A positive mental attitude does not guarantee a life of ease, but it does guarantee a life of meaning. It allows you to meet whatever comes not with fear, but with courage. Not with complaint, but with creativity. Not with resentment, but with wisdom. So choose your attitude, not once, but again and again. Cultivate it like a sacred fire. Feed it with books, with silence, with gratitude, with love. Guard it from the noise of negativity. Let it shine through your words, your work, your presence. For in the end, as this book so powerfully teaches, it is not the world that shapes you, it is you who shapes the world through the quality of your mind and the depth of your spirit. And when you walk with a positive mental attitude, you become a light in darkness, a calm in the storm, a quiet revolution of hope in a weary world.